Hello and welcome to another stream. It's been a bit of a short while since I last streamed in general, and also a bit of a long while too, since I last streamed KSP material. Usually I stream this in Maltese, but today I'm going to make a bit of an exception. I'm going to stream this in English. Now, a word of warning. Yes, I've been watching some YouTube videos lately that deal with this matter, so if you're really not into this stuff, no worries. It's a free world, in most parts at least. You're free to do whatever you like, watch something else, whatever. But if you're really interested in this, stick around. I'm going to be discussing quite a lot of material. So this is mostly inspired by YouTube videos I've been watching lately that deal with this matter, and I kind of felt I should weigh in a bit on this matter. But anyway, also another disclaimer. Yeah, I know. What you're going to be seeing here happening on screen is only loosely related. I'm not going to be showing anything via KSP. This is just basically me enjoying some gameplay while at the same time discussing this matter. So yes, I'm streaming basically some relaxation time live, but at the same time discussing what's rather a bit of a more serious matter. So first off, for those of you not aware of this, yes, there's quite, well, I would like to call it a debate, but it's really anything but. And I will let you be the judge of whatever that can be defined as. But it does tend to get a bit ugly at times. Well, YouTube after all. Anyway, and many are not in agreement about what the Earth's shape or what the universe at large is all about or consists of, etc., etc. Yes, I know, shocking. In 2020, we are still having these kind of debates. But, well, what can you do? Except try to find a way to discuss this in as much a civilized manner as possible. But anyway, so basically, there are those that accept things that have been proven over and over and over again, and then there are those who insist on the idea that the Earth is flat and that mankind never went to the moon, and all sorts of conspiracy theories. Okay, they're really just conspiracy theorists. But anyway, one thing that I found recurring and interesting. It's been actually a recurring theme in the flat Earth versus the globe debate. Has been, interestingly enough, faith. Okay, so let's set the record straight, because there seems to be a very polarized. The sides are polarized a lot. Basically, flat earthers tend to be, at least in the most part, they tend to be Christians. Fine, nothing wrong with that. Albeit they tend to be of the of the Protestant denomination, evangelicals, Adventists, and all that panoply of the Christian spectrum. While on the other side, you get all the rest. But let's say that the champions of the globe argument, at least on YouTube, tend to be atheists. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing at fault with that. But one thing that really irks me is that most of the arguments based on whether Earth is flat or not tend to revolve around the idea of what's in the Bible and what's not in the Bible. Now let me set this straight. Let me put yet another disclaimer. I'm Roman Catholic. So yeah, not Pope worthy Catholic, but Catholic nonetheless. So yeah, and no, I'm not a flat earther. Yeah, sorry, I cannot say that with a straight face. I'm not a flat earther, okay? The concept itself, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. So yeah, there you go. That's the first barrier being shattered. Okay, yes, you can have a Christian, well, actually a Catholic, and a Roman Catholic at that, not believe in the flat Earth model. Well, while we're still on the topic of faith, it appears to all of it appears to revolve around the idea that what's in the Bible is well, universal law. But no, really, I mean, there's a term for that. It's called sola scriptura. Okay, basically taking what's written in the Bible to be in its most literal form, in its most absolute literal form. But it's not. I mean, guys, there's theologians, lots of theological studies. If you're going to base your arguments about flat Earth simply out of what you find in the Bible, you're committing a lot of grave mistakes. I mean, there's lots of theological arguments that will always warn you not to take the Bible in the most literal sense, because it's full to the brim with metaphors and things that need to be taken into the context they were written in. And yes, I know you're going to retort, oh, but what about the incidents with Galileo? What about with Giordano Bruno? The Catholic Church hasn't been that open to the globe idea, etc., etc. Yes, guilty as charged. The Catholic Church has had a bit of a rough ride. Well, that's probably an understatement. But then again, I mean, it was a priest, and unless I'm wrong, a Catholic one at that, who actually did a lot of work, which resulted in the pushing forward of the idea of the Big Bang. So, yeah, I mean, yes, it hasn't been a very happy or steady relationship between the church and physics, physicists and scientists. But then again, I dare you to find me one relationship that is all well and good and has never had any issues at all. I mean, these things happen, okay? There are ups and downs, and that was a bit of a down moment, even though that moment lasted for quite a long while. So yeah, happy to have gotten that out of the way. And here we go, we're going to be launching this satellite. Ooh, made it barely. Okay. So, yeah, back to the flat Earth versus the globe argument. Yeah, I made a bit of a mistake and corrected it. Yeah. So yes, it is okay to be Christian and still believe in the globe. I mean, there's nothing that obliges you to, you know, to refuse to believe. Well, if you want to call it believing, scientific facts. There's plenty of research that, not just research, there's plenty of evidence that confirms that this whole notion is, of the globe is very much real indeed. Seriously, guys. Seriously, what's wrong with you? What's so difficult to understand? Yes, I've heard also the claims that the governments are hiding truth. They have secrets. Yeah, sure. Yeah, fine. Granted. Governments hide lots of things, such as dealings with criminal societies. Money laundering scandals, political scandals, you name it. Okay, yeah. I'm fudging this because I'm trying to concentrate on two things at the same time. But yeah, I mean, governments do hide loads of things, but I assure you that, one, they have no interest, two, they have no means, and three, it's rather pointless to try to hide what can be very easily seen and verified by multiple means. I mean, what's this really all about? What's the real agenda? I mean, you can't even argue that it's a communists versus the liberals issue, because really and honestly, I mean, even people such as the Russians and the Chinese wanted in, and they have participated, and they do collaborate with other countries on space projects. So, I mean, you cannot argue that it's got political motives. So really, this whole notion, this whole concept is, of flat Earth, is only mind-boggling in a sense that it's too senseless. Okay, I mean, I don't want to sound too harsh, but yeah, I mean, I'm compelled to say that it's downright stupid. Okay, I used up too much fuel. Yeah, must have been all that issue with the heading, but oh well. Let's deploy the satellite. So yeah, I mean, I would really like to know what all this fuss is about. Why why insist on a flat Earth model? I mean, is it only motivated by a gross misinterpretation of the Bible? What? I mean, and I'm not a physics guy, you know. I mean, I'm not versed in physics, so yeah, I'm not the kind of person who will go on and prove to you scientific concepts, you know, with equations and formulae. I mean, I'm not that well versed in them anyway. But that doesn't mean, you know, that I cannot argue against the flat Earth model. I mean, because really and truly, it's so senseless that you really don't need to use formulas. You really don't need to use equations. I mean, you can argue against it with hard scientific proof, but really and truly, it would be just going for overkill. Okay. And which is also why you're not going to get much, you know, why I'm not really much of a pro in this game, because it does require some very good understanding of physics. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if we're talking about this, you know, this is a game and I just enjoy it. Okay, you don't need to be a physics pro to enjoy a game, even if it offers a much fuller experience there, no doubt. Still, yeah, what's the point, guys? What's the point in arguing for flat Earth? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was last year or maybe early this year that flat Earther, unfortunately, wasted away himself, you know, attempting to prove that the Earth is flat by building a rocket. I don't have the specifics of whatever experiment he was trying to do there, but I mean, it is a waste. And no one should waste away their lives in that way, you know. I mean, trying to, I mean, it's a sad way to go, trying to prove something stupid. Okay, at least if you're going to waste away your life, do so, you know, for something that's worthwhile, that's worth dying for. So yeah, again, a sad loss, because, you know, death is still death. Nothing changes that. But yeah, I mean, it gets even more sad when you realize the reason behind all that. Okay. And yeah, guys, don't get me started on the contrails. Yes, they're contrails, not chemtrails argument. Okay, I mean, if any of you guys here believe in chemtrails, what are you? What are you even doing on my contacts list? No, no, seriously. I mean, yeah. Again, governments have got stuff to hide. Yes, granted. But definitely, they have no business hiding to all of us. The fact that the Earth is a globe, the fact that the universe is big, extremely big, mind-bogglingly big, so big that from our own point of view, one could almost assume that we are somehow at the center of it, even though we ourselves orbit the sun and the sun orbits the Milky Way. No, but that's just how big it is. It's so big that light from whatever edge, if there is an edge to it, just hasn't had enough time to reach us. You know, just contemplate that. I mean, for all I know, the Milky Way could truly be at the center of the universe. But then again, you know, it could also not be. I mean, this is a case for, yes, we don't have proof enough to prove that we're not at the center of the universe. But then again, we don't even have enough proof that we are. Same thing goes for arguments about the Big Bang and whatnot. I mean, just because we haven't yet gotten to the bottom of it doesn't mean that one day we will not. I mean, and even if we don't, I mean, I'm still okay with it. I personally, I'm still okay with it. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not perfect beings. We are not expected to know everything. As we say, to err is human. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay not to have the answer to everything. There's no need to be afraid of that. Okay, so moving on to this actual stream. Well, what I'm doing now, first of all, that's not Earth, okay? That's planet Carbon. In fact, it's, I mean, although from this angle it might look like I'm flying over the Pacific Ocean, with some land visible there. It's not Earth. It's not even modeled like Earth, and that's not the Moon, although it's called Moon or Mun, whatever, depending on where you are from and your accent and whatnot. This is a completely simulated solar system, you know, made just for fun. I mean, even the planets are much different than the real ones. So yeah. So yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm basically launching a communications satellite. It's the second out of 3 that are going to sit. Yes, here's where there's another hot debate. This time on the KSP forums. Let's just close both eyes, okay? Not just one. Let's close both eyes and call them Lagrange points. Yes. I know. They're not modeled. But I'm going to try to simulate those as best as I can. Basically, I want to place this satellite at one of the, well, not exact Lagrange points. You know, I'm not going to be going for a 60-degree plane or whatever the actual. I told you, I'm not a physics guy, so I don't know these too well. I'm just going to approximate roughly those points, because really what I want is triangulation. I want 2 satellites to be orbiting ahead and behind Kerbin, while I want another satellite to be on the other side, opposite of Kerbin, on its orbit, such that it would always be occulted by the sun. And have those 2 other satellites relay signals to that 3rd satellite, which would in turn relay signals to any satellites, probes, or whatever that would be happening to be orbiting or in the vicinity of any planets that would be occulted by the sun. Basically, cancelling out the sun without cancelling it out. Yeah. As I've implied, I've already launched 1 satellite, which is on its way. This is the 2nd satellite, and just going to make sure that it's on an escape trajectory. So basically, this is where Kerbin is at. If I were to have those 3 satellites placed right now, one would be somewhere around here. I know that the actual Lagrange point would probably be something more like this, but I'm actually going for a much wider angle, something like here, another satellite over here, and the other satellite right opposite on this side over here. Okay, so signals will be relayed like so and like so over to this satellite, and if any planet or satellite, for example, there's this satellite here, it's occulted by the sun. If I want to send this, although in actual fact it's not, I can see that there's a clear line of vision, but only just, maybe. But let's say that it's occulted by the sun. I mean, this satellite would not be getting signals directly from Kerbin. It would be getting them via the 3rd satellite, which would in turn be getting signals from 1 and 2. Okay. So yeah. So yes, we do have an escape trajectory. Now I'm setting the individual dishes to reach out to different planets in the system. So I have Plock, Nadon, Orlum, or Arlum, whatever. It's Orlum for me in my Maltese accent. Sanus, and okay, so we need 1 satellite to be targeting Jool, which is this game's version of Jupiter, although it's all green. Yeah, let's also target Dress, and just like that I have all the planets targeted, leaving me with one and oh, did I? So I have Duna, Kerbin, fine. The active vessel. Oh, the sun, yeah, okay. We're okay. We're okay then. So the active vessel, and let's have this target Kerbin. And just like that, this satellite is ready to go as well. It's on its way, in fact, out. Oh, fun fact. I've seen also a video about this guy, denouncing the ISS as being false. Well, it's not just this guy, there are many others. It's real, it's very real, okay? And I myself have had the rather pleasing opportunity to see it for the first time with the naked eye, I would add, even though I wear glasses, but the conditions happen to be just right to for the ISS to be visible with the naked eye. Just about a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, and it took me a few moments to realize what it was, because of course with the naked eye all I could see was just this small blob of light, looking like one of those slow-moving comets. Sorry, not comets, shooting stars. That's what it looked like at first. But and it was coming in from the east, east going to west. And at first, I kind of thought, yeah, okay, I'm seeing one of those slow-moving shooting stars. But its brightness didn't change. It remained constant, very constant, and it was very bright too. I mean, usually those slow-moving shooting stars are less bright, and their brightness does. Then you see them for a short while. Yes, it would still be a good amount of seconds, sometimes even a minute. But they just fade away soon after. But this appeared to remain constant, moving at a constant speed, brightness not diminishing. That was pretty much a lot of evidence that this thing was not just another piece of debris or whatever burning in the atmosphere. Although, yes, I know it's not actually burning. I mean, the process with meteors and what we call shooting stars is not really a burning effect as much as it is a compression effect. But whatever. I'm not here to argue the actual specifics. But yeah, a few moments later, my mind clicked, and I realized that I was looking at the ISS. So yeah, that was nice. That was nice, and I confirmed that a few moments after, when I took my mobile phone and looked up the ISS's position, and it was at the time passing just overhead. And mind you, my phone is equipped with GPS technology, 4G technology, as well as a compass, magnetic compass, of course, which all of them are possible thanks to the Earth being a globe. Because to get all those things working, you need things such as satellites, which would be orbiting at a specific altitude, and which would be working in tandem with each other. Alright, maybe tandem is not the correct term, but whatever. You know what I mean. Most importantly, for the compass, you would need a magnetic field, and I don't see that being possible with a flat Earth. I mean, I guess it could be somehow made to work in a flat Earth model, and I'd be very, very interested to know how that would work. But I, for one, prefer the more plausible, more logical, and also the proven fact that the magnetic field is possible thanks to the Earth being a sphere, albeit not a perfect sphere, and that it has a rotating core inside, a liquid core actually, as well as a solid core, which via interaction between the two, what you end up with is the generation. They generate the magnetic field. So I would really be interested to see how, in a flat Earth model, such a thing as the magnetic field would work out. So yeah. Okay, this satellite is well on its way, and I think we can leave it at that. But yeah, since I launched till now, as you can see, there's also an eclipse happening. That's another thing that flat earthers have a hard time explaining. Okay, I mean, here you can see it replicated in this game. Okay, you get the sun, the moon, and the planet here. Okay, moon is casting a shadow on the planet, and for these guys here, okay, as it happens in this game, the same conditions that we experience on Earth are also replicated in this game. So at this scale, okay, the moon is at just the right distance and the sun is just the right size that when you're standing here on the surface, you actually get to experience the same effect that we experience here on Earth when there's an eclipse. Okay, corona and all. And by corona, yes, I know this is 2020, the year of the coronavirus. By corona, I mean the sun's corona. Okay, which is one of the most fascinating and mysterious things about the sun. So yeah, I mean, if you're standing right in the middle of that shadow, although at this angle, it's now practically a partial eclipse, but had you be happening to be more over here when the moon was further to, looking from this point of view further to our right, you would happen to view a full eclipse, a total eclipse. So yeah. Also, another thing that flat earthers do bring about is the models of the solar system. The images of the solar system. Things such as it not being to scale or whatever. Guys, this has been argued over and over again, and has been also proven over and over again. Yes, there are to-scale images of the solar system, and yes, they are very, very, very mind-boggling, as well as being, tedious or even downright boring to view, simply because what you get is scrolling through a lot of nothing, which practically reflects what is out there to be seen. And the key word here is seen, because really, even though it looks like nothing, it's not completely nothing. But yeah, I think that's an argument for another time, another time. Yeah, I'm not a native English speaker, so I hope I'm forgiven my transgressions in English. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's it for me. I mean, I think I have rambled long enough about this this topic. Yeah. So there you have it. A Roman Catholic who is, who doesn't feel compelled or obliged to believe the flat Earth model, who can also easily bring plenty of proof, even though I don't really need any physics to prove it. Okay, I don't need any equations to prove it. But even if I wanted, I could do a lot more homework and bring you actual scientific proof. But yeah, I mean, other guys have already done that, and are doing that. So yeah, I mean, why reinvent the wheel? When we already have one that's working and doing just fine. Anyway, that's it from me for today. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you next time.